Hello and welcome to Harvard Plays and welcome to 2020. This year, this series will change not at all. We're going to do the same thing for 52 weeks, playing a whole bunch of different games, the only thing that's going to be different is I'm going to try and get more indie and more weird and stranger, and we're going to start with a really weird and strange game called Verlet Swing, and I'll get into that a bit more, but first I also want to plug, hopefully in the next few days, I'm going to be coming out with a additional series to the Harvard Plays franchise. I don't know what to call it yet. It's been like 8 episodes. But I'm going to try and do some retro games, and I want to get a bit more cerebral with the way I look at design and think about what were the limitations and the strengths and advantages that developers had to work with in older games, and what we can learn about game design by looking at older titles. But this is not that video, this is Verlet Swing, a game which I hate and probably also hates me, and we will come to see why. This is a game that's built upon the vaporwave scene, and if you're not really sure what that is, it's an internet phenomenon that's popped up in the last something like 4 or 5 years, and it's very focused on what I would like to think of as the trash of the internet. It's like the giant refuse pile of assets and design philosophies and things that went out of fashion and would otherwise not be in fashion except for vaporwave. And these are the guys who go into YouTube comments and post the word aesthetic, but in all caps and a space between each letter. These are the guys who listen to 80s music except filters through convenience stores or from the bathroom, and Google those YouTube videos because they're very good. My favorite is, I think Last Christmas, but you're crying in the bathroom. And these guys also really like a very specific genre of video game called surf, which is they're usually map hacks of Counter-Strike or Team Fortress 2, where you're just sliding through and trying to glide your way through a level that's really kind of hates you. You gotta die a lot, but every now and then you get through it perfectly. And I've been talking too much, so let's play a few levels and see how this works. Why is it not letting me play? Okay, level 1. So this game is all about swing. You hold ZR, you can latch onto objects, and you can let go to go flying into the distance. And all you need to do is land on this blue circle. You get rated up to 4 teapots if you do well, and each level is about 10 seconds long. Also, the epilepsy warning at the start of this video, I should have mentioned it earlier, absolutely applies, 100% applies. There's going to be a lot of flashing lights, so I would very highly not recommend watching this if you're sensitive to that. Okay, let's go. So here is second level. You can see that you can move with the left stick, so you can control your air velocity quite a bit. And there's these little nodes, like you can see right in front of you, this blue circle, that will guide you to where you should be swinging. Alright, that's level 2. And now you sort of see what this game is about. It's all these weird junk assets, like this Tutankhamun mask. Who knows where the developer got it from? Who knows why it's here? It's just, as the kids say, aesthetic. Okay, we'll do the first few levels. These are quite tutorial-y, so they're not very difficult. Here are some pillars. You just want to swing on the pillars. If you want to swing on the cloud, that's okay too. And touching literally anything will result in death, so get ready for a lot of resets in the next few levels. These first few ones are pretty simple still. There are these ancient Greek Corinthian pillars and some white marble faces, and we're dead. Okay. Hitting the floor also kills you. I don't think I need to explain that. Now, the difficult thing about this game is that because it's so analog, because the swing and the timing is all very imprecise, every single run is different. And so if you fail a single time, your next run will be completely different, and every lesson you learned is useless. Also, that was just a rocket. If you latch onto that, it zooms off into the distance. In earlier levels, it helps you. In later levels, it'll probably kill you. This level's called Pizza Dreams. Usually, the best thing to do is to follow those little blue orbs. Sometimes they're not placed in very helpful locations, but usually they're good. Your run through a level is usually going to take a first few tries, just figure out where everything is and where you're meant to be going, and then once you get used to the patterns, you can make an attempt on the exit. This one's called Around the Block. Our exit's over there. There's some Japanese on this sign which I can't read. Maybe someone else can try. I'm sure it says something inappropriate. Okay. Didn't work out very well. A lot of levels in this game involve getting altitude. And that's generally quite hard to do with this game's set of controls. This is what I mean when I say this game hates you, is that most of these levels feel like they shouldn't be solved. Every time I succeed in this game, it feels like an accident. And I'm sure that's exactly what the developer wants you to feel. Okay, this one's called Mausoleum, and it's full of these Easter Island heads. Why? Who knows? But you can swing on them. And that does look like quite a convincing mausoleum. And for most levels you can see that there's a predetermined path that you should follow based on these blue and yellow circles. You don't really need to follow it. In fact, most of the time it's better if you don't. This one's called Attack on Pillar. So the game's full of random internet references and just the strangest graphics assets you can imagine. Sometimes you'll cling to the wrong thing and you'll die. Too bad. You have no respite from this game. I've played this a lot over Christmas because as much as I hate it, it is a great 10-15 minute burst. And you can just grind your way through a few levels and put it away once you're too angry. And because there's not a lot of skill or practice involved, you never feel like you're missing anything. Because I feel like if you're playing like an RPG, right, and you know that you need to stop, and maybe you won't have time to come back to it for a week or two, when you do come back to it, you will have forgotten just about all the important mechanics, and you'll have no idea how to advance. You may as well have just not played the first few hours, because you'll need to replay them if you want any chance to progress. Whereas this one, I dislike it so much that I would like to forget everything about the game once I'm done playing it. So it's great for a short burst of time, and sometimes a level like this will just stump you for no good reason. And then your victory will be accidental. I never really got into the surf culture that predated this game, but I was aware of it. I did every now and then accidentally log on to the surf maps on Counter-Strike or on TF2 back when Valve had open servers. Every now and then I'd turn up into a map and be like, what's going on? We're not shooting each other. This level looks all weird. And it would just be like one or two people trying to slide down some triangles and make sure they got to the exit. I tried it a few times, but the controls on CS surfing were so finicky. This game is actually a bit better in that regard. No! Okay, that was close. This game is a bit better in that the controls, at the very least, are simple. You can just press ZR to swing and use your left stick to control your momentum, and that's all you need, right? Whereas with surfing in CS and other Valve games, it was so complicated. You needed the crouch and you needed a bunch of other buttons just to make it work. Okay, success. Finally. This game doesn't count how many times you fail a level, which is probably for the best. I feel like that'd be quite tilting. Oh my goodness. Okay, what was that? The heads now explode. But not completely. Only to a small degree. What's the level called? Time Freeze. Why? At least it's pretty merciful right now. The heads explode in, I think, the same way each time. So it's not as random as some of the later levels of this game. I think I can make it. I can't make it. I hate moments like that. You have so much hope, and then suddenly you don't. Okay. Did we do it? We did not do it. This would be a lot more interesting to watch if I was good at this game, but I'm still not entirely convinced that there is such a thing as good as this game. Look, I'm failing in a different way every time. It's not like a game where I can practice and get good at. It's just trash. And later in the game knows it. Later in the game, it just makes fun of itself more and more and more. Okay, I know I'm being very mean to this game, but actually I do enjoy it enough that I've almost beat it. I think I'm up to something like level 97 out of 100. Yeah, there's 100 levels in this thing. The aesthetic actually never really gets old. I'm always still curious to see what crazy design the next level is going to have. So, at least there's that. And there is some novelty to the fact that every single run is different. Okay, we made it. Yeah, every single attempt you make on a level is different. So it never feels like you're dying to the same stupid obstacle over and over again. You can always just experiment and come up with different ways to approach a similar problem. In that regard, I like this game more than something like Super Meat Boy, right? Because that game is just... there is only ever one right answer, and you just throw yourself at the wall until you can successfully pull it off. It's what I like to think of as a robot game, where a robot would be able to play it much more perfectly than a human because it knows exactly when to press the buttons. Whereas this one, a robot can never play this because it's just too loose and freeform. It's all about enjoying the sensation of movement in the moment. This one's called Pillar Hoops. I'm assuming they want you to go through these hoops, but it would probably be easier if we didn't and just did something else entirely. Yeah, most white surfaces can be swung on, and black surfaces can't. That being said, though, you can grab onto any part of it, and you can creatively manipulate the level however you like. Whoa, yes. Yes. When the game is working well, it can feel like a good roller coaster ride. When the game is not working well, that. I'm not really a person who gets angry when they play games, but this game does bring out the worst in me sometimes. Okay, that was semi-successful. I've played through these early levels before, but almost a year ago, because it's taking me so long to progress in this game that I don't remember most of them. I don't remember how they go. This one's called Dynamic Discs. There's CD discs here. How weird is it that CDs are an outdated technology now? How weird is it that the kids these days... I don't know why I keep phrasing it like that. The kids who are born and are in high school today are younger than CDs. I think some of them might even be younger than USB sticks. They don't know what USB sticks are, they're too used to airdropping things. Isn't that just the future? It looks like there's actually two potential pathways through this level. There's one on the left side through that node, and there's one on the right. I'm not sure which way is going to be easier, so I'm just going to experiment until I find one. Okay. I'm thinking maybe right side because there's more opportunities to swing like that. And then we can do this, and then we can get over the pizza, and we're here. I get it, dynamic discs, because CDs are a disc and pizzas are also a disc. This game. This one's called Needles. Pretty unassuming so far. I like that when you're going really fast, you start to see speed lights, and you also start to hear the wind going past you. This is really good game feel. We're not going to make it. If I was smarter, I'd be making some jokes about relative distance and projectile motion and all that, but I don't remember enough from high school to pull that off. Okay. 10 speed. Oh. Yeah. the tether physics are actually quite loose. The tether is quite bouncy. It's not a fixed length, and so sometimes you'll survive and sometimes you won't. Yeah, you see, because the game is so... I don't know, I still don't exactly know what the right word for it is, but it's the opposite of digital, right? It's the opposite of there is definitely one right answer and one right answer. It's just, there's too many variables that could change, which means that you can't practice one possible solution. You just gotta adapt to it on the fly. And I don't know, some people might be into that. I need to be in a very specific mood to enjoy that. These first few levels are still relatively easy. It's called Easter Bridge. I have no idea why. There's some teapots that are floating, and a hole that's very small that I need to get into. Or completely ignore and go over it. Whoop. I really have to wonder how the developers pulled together all these assets and where they got the idea to be like, oh yeah, blocky cars and teapots, they're gonna go in the same level. Okay, you can swing like that, but this is much more risky, as you can see. You don't have enough air control to do anything about flying into a wall if you know what's going to happen, so yeah. A lot of the time you just give up and go for the next run. I haven't been counting how many times I've died. Next level, I'm going to count how many times I fail and see if that means anything. I'm at least up to 20 in this one though. One thing that I'm not as fond of about this game is that even though it is part of the vaporwave aesthetic, the music isn't to the right standard in my opinion. I think the music is just very like synthwave, but it doesn't have that same kind of aesthetic quality that I've come to expect from vaporwave, and it doesn't have the same kind of humorous tone as well as the rest of the game does. Don't get me wrong, like it's nice, but it just doesn't fit with the rest of the game's vibe. Okay, so what if I swing like this from here, get underneath the bridge, and then use that momentum to go really, really high on the other side? Sure, that could work. Maybe I need to swing off this first teapot to get enough height to do that. Otherwise I might just go straight past it. Okay, so then here, go under. Okay, try that again, but with better planning. I mean, that wasn't the plan, but it worked. You see what I mean? At the end of the level, just like, that wasn't the plan, but it worked. And you don't want to do it again, so you just take it. This one's called Lefty Righty. I'm going to count how many failures I can take. 1. 2. Okay, it seems to me that 3. Seems to me that that path through those gaps is much more difficult than it needs to be. What if I just go this way and try to get the teapot instead? It's 4. Doesn't look like it's possible. What if instead I go really far and try to get this one? It's 5. The first node is not very good. It doesn't let me get very far. It's 6. It's definitely possible to get into that gap. Let me try that. 7. It's inconsistent to get the distance for that gap. 8. Okay, so I take it back, that was not easier. 9. Which means that I just need to get through that gap. 10. That seems like the most reasonable course of action. 11. But even that's very specific. Yes. Oh. 12. That was progress. 13. 14. You need to go down and then up with that second node. 15, I think? Man, it's gonna be so embarrassing if I go back on the footage and realize I lost count. Okay, this is good, this is good. This is bad. 16. Back up, good. This way. 17. Sometimes in the moment you just panic, you know. You lose all your plans and you just panic. This is good, this is good. Let's get that one. 18. And sometimes you lose track of exactly where you are, which is not a good way to get about. It's 19. 20. So I can skip a level this time because normally you can't, but this time because I've beaten this before, I can just skip to the next world if I really wanted to. But that wouldn't be part of the experience now, would it? Oh my goodness, this is gonna be too much. 21. Close. But we saw the exit though, so surely we can't be that far off. 22. And we know how to do the early parts of the stage now, we're used to it. We've got that muscle memory ingrained in us, 23. I'm more reliable with that, so we don't worry about the later bits. That would be bad. 24. Yeah, this one I can do quite reliably. Yeah. What if I just skip that? No, 25. Can't skip it. Have to take it. Okay, this is good. Oh, it's so good. Yes. No. Yes. 26. Okay, that was 25 attempts. It's 15 seconds times 25 is 4. Wait, no, hold on. Minutes. So it's 6 minutes. 6 minutes and 15 seconds on average. Okay. Okay. This last one's called Maze Runner. And then after we beat this, we have finished the first world. We have checkmated history. There's so many levels like this where it doesn't let you see what's going ahead until you get through the hole and you're just gonna quickly improvise your plan and you fail. That's the attempt, I think. There's a node there. Good. No. 4 attempts. Okay, I see where this is going. No, I don't. Maybe don't. Consistently make it through this hole is the first thing I have to do. Okay, good. Swing around. 6. Into the hole. Swing around. Alright, now get the head. Into the gap. 7. Okay, land on the node. Swing around. Oh, and I remember now. You don't want the head. You want a little platform under the head. I'm getting brief flashbacks to this level from before because I remember this is one that took me forever when I first did it. Oh, that almost worked. The last level in a world, so this is level 20 and every 20 levels there's a new world. The last level of each world is usually really, really difficult. Oh, I should have gone up, that would have been good. Whoa! Okay. Nice, we did it. All my times are somehow slower than my previous attempts though. Okay, we have checkmated history. Let's go to the next world. This is called Moby-Mot, which I assume is meant to be a reference to electronic musician Moby, who was popular in the early 2000s and no one really knows anymore. But maybe not, who knows? Vaporwave. This level's called Bubbles. I don't think I can swing on the bubbles, but I think they still kill me. Oh, I can swing on the bubbles. Oh, they don't even kill me. I was wrong 2 for 2. Whoa. This is so weird. Oh, this is so weird. Okay. I think we can win. First try. Dolphin plumber. There's dolphins and toilets. Cool. Oh, the dolphins move. Oh no, the dolphins move. Okay, where am I trying to get to? I'm trying to get into the toilet. You see what I mean when I say this game hates you? Space Boys. I get it, because it's like boys, and there's boys. I feel like I'm audibly aging as I play this game. This doesn't look too hard though. All we need to do is swing on the boys. The boys. Done. Ice hoops. So it's ice. I don't think they're like bubbles. Yeah, they kill you. Okay, there's actually no need for me to go through that hoop except for the coolness factor. In fact, I think it might be a detriment to my path. Because instead we can go around and swing this dolphin and bypass the ice entirely. Almost. Okay. If we grab onto that dolphin, then we would have made it. Yeah, I'm not really a person who gets motion sick, but I think if this game didn't have the reticule in the middle, I would probably be feeling a bit woozy by now. What did we just learn? We learned to bypass the ring and go for the dolphin. Should have been following my lessons. Whoop. It was a very poor practice. Okay. I think the ice moves in a similar pattern every time though. It's somewhat predictable. What if we went this way instead? Something like that. Get this. No. Should try to land on the ring somehow. I haven't counted my attempts with this one, but I'm sure it's a high number by now. Okay. What was I talking about before? Oh yeah, so actually before I forget, there's a game that's similar to this, but not this, which I've been waiting for something like 8 years. It's a game called Perfect Stride, and it's made by Ben Esposito, who also made Donut County. And it's entirely possible that this game's been cancelled because I've not heard any updates on it for something like 5 or 6 years. But it's also a vaporwave skating game. And it's got a dedicated button for you to smoke a cigarette while you're on a skateboard and doing a flip, which fits the aesthetic in a different way to this. I feel like it's not a game which hates the player as much, but it's still influenced by that kind of Tribes, Counter-Strike, surf culture that briefly existed and now is not so big. What am I doing? How can I advance? What have I learned through this experience? How has this benefited me in any way? Isn't that a question that is difficult to answer? What does anyone get from watching this? Why is anyone here? Is there gonna be a feeling of satisfaction when I beat this level? Because maybe yes, or maybe no, who knows? Maybe I'll just get ridiculously lucky and it won't be a reflection of skill at all. I have very much lost count of how many times I died. Yeah, I think I never personally got too into the Vaporwave community, probably because of this nihilistic outlook. Like, nothing has meaning, nothing has a point, let's waste our time with trash. Swing! Yeah, you can't say that's not a feeling of achievement, right? After getting to the end of that, after that ordeal of a level, you feel like you've achieved something, right? Something. Okay, there's the next one called Through the Weeds. There's some weeds and we gotta go through them. And the game just gets progressively more difficult from here. Progressively more erratic, more difficult to predict. I would never say it's more mechanically challenging because it isn't. It's just more BS. More difficult to predict, more... or less fun. Less fun is probably the best way to put it. But at this point, you're here for the ride, right? You're very much Stockholm Syndrome in this game. I hate it when that happens. It's when it's a game that you don't actually like that much, but you've sunk enough time and enough dedication into the mechanics that you're just like, oh, I guess I had to see it through to the end now, don't I? It doesn't happen very often. There's a few, especially multiplayer games, that I have this problem with. Whereas I'm just like, I've sunk this many hours into it already. I know so much about it. I've done research on it. I've watched YouTube videos and read articles and devoted a good portion of my time to it, you know? So at some point I should continue to hone these skills. I shouldn't just chuck them away. Do you guys have any games like that? Games that you don't really enjoy anymore, but you kind of just keep playing because you know how to? Let me know. Let me know if you have any solutions to this problem. Do you just need to stop cold turkey, or is there a way that you can properly enjoy them without this idea of, I guess, being stuck with it? Okay, so I think we learned... Never mind. I was going to say we learned that that ice cube was safe, but it's certainly not. This is what I mean. Every run of this game, every run of each level is just different for some reason. You can never use the wisdom from a previous attempt because it just doesn't work sometimes. Even though theoretically everything's moving in the same way, sometimes it just doesn't feel right. It'll just be centimeters off and it'll just ruin everything. Also, how's everyone's New Year's been? What are the games that people have been playing over the holidays? What are the games people received? I would be interested in hearing that. I would be interested in hearing what are the games that you enjoy playing, maybe with family members who don't play as many games? Or maybe things that get you into a holiday mood, get you into a celebratory mood. I once knew someone from a game site who used to play Nights into Dreams every Christmas, because I think that game has a Christmas mode or something like that. It's also just a very nice, happy game. I don't really have any traditions myself. I guess mostly just lean towards party games, a lot of Overcooked, but otherwise nothing really. I would definitely want to one day do some Let's Plays as a group on this channel. I don't know if internet's ever going to be good enough in Australia to Skype in some of the other folks, but maybe if we do something in person, I don't know. Everyone on the team lives pretty far away from each other. It's not very easy to organize a meetup or anything like that. How many attempts have I made at this level? It's gotten to the point where I'm actively trying my best not to talk about the level anymore. This is a good attempt. This is yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel like it. This game wasn't designed, or the levels weren't designed with how they were going to be solved in mind. They weren't designed to be fun experiences. They were just designed to be a compilation of trash that if you want to beat, you can, probably. They're not physically impossible to beat, but it's not really planned how you should go about it. Is it fun? Not really, but also yes. You know how sometimes games can be like that? Are they fun? Not really, but also yes. No! That feeling of satisfaction when you beat a level is still kind of there. It's still kind of satisfying. Maybe less so than a game that's really well designed and has well thought out levels. But it's still there. Okay, we missed it. We can salvage this. Probably. No, we can't. I'm still pretty sure I'm doing the early stage of this level differently every single time. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't matter. It's not so much that there isn't an intended path, it's just that sometimes the intended path isn't the best one. Okay, let's try this node for once. Oh, that was a bad idea. Bad idea. The tethering isn't also the most responsive thing. Sometimes it'll latch onto something that you didn't intend to, but what are you gonna do? Simple mechanics. I'm pretty sure this is a pretty cheap game as well. I can't remember exactly how much it is. Maybe something like $20-ish, I want to say. Because it is 3D and there is an amount of effort that was put into it. I would assume it's something like that. Okay. Didn't even see that one coming. I'm sure we're definitely somewhere near 100 attempts by now. Surely we're nearing 100 attempts. Certainly feels like it. That was a good swing. And from here, right, salvage. No. Good try. Okay. Still very inconsistent. I don't know if anyone out there is actually really good at this game. I'll be curious if there's anyone who's just a master of this game, can beat any level on the first try, knows it in and out. I'd be really curious to see if there was something like that. Or if there's speedrunners. You know, the game is theoretically speedrunner friendly because it has a timer, it has everything you need for speedrunners. I'm always surprised by which games develop their speedrun communities, because aside from the really obvious ones, right? Aside from like the classics of the NES, SNES, the Super Mario Bros, whatever, some games just develop good communities based on the mechanics. Like there was an old, I want to say 3DS game, I think it was on the 3DS, Mighty Switch Force, which has an amazing soundtrack that I still play some of the tracks to this day. Some people have brought the individual level records of that game down to ridiculous amounts. I think the game itself had some speedrunner-ish mechanics. It tracked your level time and it encouraged you to go fast, but I don't think they anticipated how far down the records could get. I've never personally been a speedrunner myself. I've been always interested in the scene. I like the thought of people getting so good at a game that they can do it that fast. But I've also never been that devoted to one single game that I could just spend time practicing moment after moment. And I'm starting to feel the fatigue of this one. If I wasn't talking about something off topic, I probably would have stopped this a long time ago. You know, there's one last tangent I want to talk about. Maybe I'll finish this level before I finish it. Maybe I won't. But I've always been interested, especially recently, in the idea of how does someone actually get really good at something. So speedrunning is part of it, but just any skill, right? Any task. Anything that requires practice. Is it just a case of doing it for a long time? Or is it like working smarter, not harder? or does natural talent come into play at all? Because, you know, some people are just very naturally talented. I wonder if the people who are the best at something are usually the ones who are the most talented. So if they just naturally had an aptitude for it, or if there was something special in the way they see the world that allowed them to devote more of themselves to that one task than anyone else. Because I don't really see myself, at the moment at least, being the best at anything, right? And this is not just games and real life and skills, but just anything. I think that hopefully a lot of people can relate, right? When they were kids, maybe you enjoy a sport, but you're not the best at that sport. Maybe you enjoy a musical instrument, but you're not going to be a concert performer or something like that. Oh, I think we might win. Oh, we won! Oh, I'm so impressed at myself. Of course that meant nothing, but still. Okay, next level. What was I saying? Yeah, you might not be the best at it, but I wonder how you develop the mindset to commit yourself to become really, really, really good at something. This level is so easy. Compared to the last one, what's the deal? This one's called Tunnel. I hate it already. Oh my goodness, I hate it already. Oh, it's actually so bad. Okay, so I think it moves, it rotates and it also moves to the side because the exit at the end closes up after a while. Okay, we're doing it. We're actually doing it. Whoa. Okay, good. It's good to space out the hard ones with the easy ones. It's called Twin Towers. There's 2 towers. Oh, I have to climb this stupid rotating wall of ice. I see a lot of Twitch streamers nowadays, they're playing Jump Quest. I think that's what it's called. It's like a very silly video game that reminds me of Getting Over It. And it's just an excuse for them to have really angry reactions when they fall and lose all of their progress. I've never played anything like that, but I don't know if I want to try and see how I would react to just failing that often. Because I like to think of myself as a pretty chill guy, right? I don't very often get tilted, especially not when I'm playing games. So I wonder how I would handle it. Would I be really good at it? Or would I just not have the passion to excel at it? Okay. I definitely want to be improving the way I make these Let's Plays, though. I definitely want to be not boring, is what I hope. I think part of it comes down to the games that I pick, but part of it also just what I talk about. I know I have a very wispy voice anyway, and so I know that a lot of the YouTubers and the content creators that I watch, sometimes I like to put them in the background and just zone out for a bit while I do other stuff. And so, you know, if you use these videos for that purpose, then awesome. I'm happy that I could contribute to your life in that small way. If you're carefully paying attention to every word that I say, well, first of all, please don't. But that's cool. I'm glad that you'd like that too. I would love for my commentary to be more pertinent to game design as well. Make it more interesting to people who want to look at games more in depth. And a mini part of the series too in future weeks is I want to do not analysis videos, but analyze games as I play them and talk about game design terms like verbs and decision making and choices and all of that, and discuss how themes are carried through the use of game mechanics. I think I might need to make an intro video first on just what is analysis and what I consider to be analysis. And from there, I really want to look at Gorogoa first, which is this storybook game. Oh wow, I cheesed that so well. Gorogoa, which is the storybook game, and it's wordless, so it's very heavily built on symbols. And I think with a lot of games nowadays, there's just this trend to not have any words anywhere. even when there should have been words. Sometimes the tutorials will just be symbols and won't be the best way of communicating it, but it's got this artsy vibe to it. And I think being able to be literate with metaphors and symbols is going to be very helpful for people who want to enjoy games to a deeper level. Okay, this level is just a nightmare. I think I do need to latch onto one of these snowballs. The physics are really weird in that if you latch onto a moving object, it imparts its velocity onto you, but more so. So I can't get the snowball right now, but you'll see when I land a hook on the snowball. Yeah, I zoom off in the same direction as the snowball. And in some later levels you actually need that. In this one I think it's not that important. It's as long as you find a way to the exit, you'll be fine. Okay, gonna need to use these snowballs. Oh, that was a good one. Okay. Maybe we ignore the snowballs from. Maybe we just go for the gears. Let's see how we go. These early levels give you a lot of options to toy with, so you're never really stuck. You just need to think about what's going to be the fastest way to get to the exit. And the exit looks like it's really hard to get to. You've got to get under that castle wall. I guess we worry about consistently getting there first before we worry about getting into the castle itself. Oh, the drawbridge closes. What the heck? So you just need to be really fast. Okay, so I guess you do need the snowballs. Okay, so you do that. And I don't know if the snowballs appear at the same rates, but if they do, that's about as close as we're going to get to finishing the level. Okay, so we need to latch onto one as we're going up. Oh, look at this level. I actually had to talk through my thought processes. It's going to be very accurate with my swing. I missed it. It's such a small target too. Let's just call it the last level that I'm going to do. Let's see how long it takes me. I don't want to do any more after this. This game has exhausted me. Oh, what? There's a node there. I haven't seen it. Oh, let's make this level so much easier. I say as I die immediately. Okay, if we just take this node... Oh, there's a node there too. Okay. Well then maybe we don't even need to get in before the drawbridge closes because we can just go the other way. Okay, let's see. Can just zoom off really fast, do a big swing on this one. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. Wow, so I've been doing this level the hard way for no reason. There's no need for me to touch those snowballs, like, at all. Alright, in through the drawbridge, around like that, up, and onto the cube. Oh, okay, we finished it. We have the high ground. It's over. And so is this Let's Play. Thanks for watching. Sorry for getting really rambly. Sometimes difficult games do that to me. But if you're interested in this game, it's called Verlet Swing. It's on the Switch eShop. And I believe it's on Steam as well. It's all about swinging. It's all about vaporwave. If you like the aesthetic, maybe it's for you. If you find the gameplay that I've been going through so far infuriating, it only gets worse from here. Look, there's a lot of levels. It's like, oh, what am I doing? There's 100 levels, and there's a bonus stuff as well. There's like challenge runs and just, yeah, it's complete a marathon while using the rope as little as possible. Yeah, there's just so many different modes to this. It'll take you a long time. It'll probably make you very angry. If you're down for that, I recommend it. If you're not, well, let this 40 minutes be your introduction to this game and also the last time you ever see it again. Goodbye, see you next week.